What's up, y'all? It's John Master Lee here with the Ubisoft press conference and their first big reveal for their big game coming up, Watch Dogs Legion. I will admit, when I first saw this game, I wasn't buying into it. Now, here's the thing, right? I loved Watch Dogs 2. And I think a big part of it was because it was set in Silicon Valley, the Bay Area, and that's where I used to live. So it was so much fun cruising around, exploring the city, exploring Silicon Valley, and basically enjoying the landmarks that I got to see in real life. Like that whole sequence when you're going through a Fox Google headquarters. Well, I've been to Google headquarters and it's pretty close. Like the feel of it and what they've been able to recreate was just so much fun. I've never played an open world game where it resonated with me in that way. And slowly but surely, the whole concept of hacking became a lot of fun. Well, except for some of the hacking puzzles, which I thought were just pretty lame. Oh, those are annoying as hell. I don't think I've ever played a hacking puzzle game that was ever fun, but that's beside the point. The game was a lot of fun. One of my top favorite games of the year when it came out. But the problem is when I first saw Watch Dogs Legions, the trailer that came out, I wasn't buying into two things. One is London. Like, I never had a hankering for wanting to explore London. It's just one of those cities for me that not on my top list of places I want to see virtually. But second, they are doing something so crazy bold with Watch Dogs where you can basically recruit any member into your crew and play with them. And to me, that just sounds overly ambitious. It feels like every character eventually is going to feel generic. Basically just different stats, different personas, and that's about it. So I'm really curious about this gameplay trailer because I want to get a sense of whether or not these characters can actually ingratiate themselves to you, or are they merely just one level up from generic NPCs? I don't think these characters are procedurally generated, but the question is, can they hold a candle against some of the characters that you normally get to play with in these big open world games, and which Ubisoft is really good at developing, right? Those peripheral characters that surround you. So let's check this out, y'all. 7-minute gameplay trailer. So they're definitely going to be revealing enough here for me to get a sense of whether or not this is a must buy. So let's check it out. And away I go.
Our London town, a modern metropolis, built on history and prosperity. Only took 12,000 years to build it up, and one night to tear it all down.
12,000 years.
Oh my God. Listen up. Get all your units to move in and lock down the city.
I really do love what they've done with the drones in this game.
With London under attack by a mysterious terrorist, the government turns to a private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe. What could possibly go wrong?
Ooh.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nigel Cass, CEO of Albion. He's kindly stepped up to establish order.
Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize this.
He will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Nigel's not the only opportunist who's taken a liking to this fair city. Meet Mary Kelly, head of the most powerful crime syndicate in London.
God, that facial rendering is... Shit ugly.
Everything from party pills to people.
This microchip is scary, I know, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
You do not want to ruffle her feathers. With the city out on its arse, it now falls on
This
you
is a brutal
to
game.
and take back London.
All right, everyone. Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets can be recruited into your team. Like him. Her. Or even her. Everyone could become your next secret weapon.
I feel like they are showing a lot of the similar characters from the last trailer. So I'm wondering how many of these characters you can actually recruit.
We need to get some dirt on Nigel Cass, and that means breaking into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
Dear God, my eyes.
Badly?
Zip up, get to work, and let's never talk about this again.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone.
I love this.
Perfect for gatecrashing.
Surfing on a drone.
And who needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody nail gun?
Come here, you side-eyed shitboard.
All right, I mean, can he pick up other weapons though, or is he kind of stuck with that thing?
What is that thing?
Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert,
What have we here?
a real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
What the? Oh,
Let's class the place up.
that was kind of cool.
Drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done. Recruiting an Albion officer like Brielle here might be challenging, but it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me, just doing recon for a bunch of insurgents.
However, do anything suspicious and she'll probably wind up with a bullet in the back of her head.
All right, I get a feeling you really actually can't recruit everybody. Like, even all those office workers you can recruit?
An element here. I can get the defense minister on the
Everyone at
line
the table
right
you
now.
can recruit here?
If you feel you must.
That didn't
Criminals
go
running
well.
our streets, illegals threatening our families, the police commissioner himself, assassinated by terrorists.
Well, that seems to be enough evidence. Next up, we're crashing Mary Kelly's organ farming operation and putting a stop to it.
That's good. The buyers expect high quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Yeah, this game is definitely dark as F.
Don't disturb me in my natural habitat.
Say hello to Mickey. The man lives for his team
That put another hair on my chest.
and doesn't mind getting his hands dirty.
Just waiting for the hooligan to come on out to play.
He does have a slight drinking problem, though. And he's passed out. We'll come back to him. You know what? Let's go with someone a bit more professional. It's almost crass to call him a hitman.
Getting like John Wick vibes here.
Some might even call him an artist.
It is very cool how they're actually simulating a John Wick feel here.
Here's the bastard responsible. Done and dusted.
Not bad if I do say so, innit?
Not everyone in London is a legendary assassin or a super spy, but everyone can be a hero.
This ain't a game, this ain't a game, this ain't a game.
So get out there, find the best recruits, and build your resistance. It's time to take back London.
God. Hearts pounding, man. Hearts pounding. Very cool. All right. It's definitely not gameplay trailer. It is a gameplay overview trailer. So, distinction here. But what's been revealed here is interesting because it's actually raised more questions than answered questions for me. What they didn't tell you is how many different recruits you have. Is each person truly that different, or are there overlaps with what I would call almost like class-based type of action? In other words, this whole Albion crew, right? The fact that you can recruit someone within there indicates that you can recruit someone who probably has some tactical military type of training. But they've also revealed in the past that characters can die, and they die permanently. So, like, what if that character gets killed? Does that gameplay option no longer become viable? They must have redundancies, meaning that if one of those characters who's an Albion, are they soldiers? I guess, police force, then you might be able to recruit someone else. And each one might have a slightly unique stats, but otherwise, I think what you're basically seeing here is maybe like 10 different types of classes. You can play as a drone expert, you can play as a construction expert, and if one dies, you have a backup and a backup, and at some point maybe you run out of people that you can recruit if they all die. That's my guess is how they're pulling it off. So in of itself, that is still a system that actually sounds structured, which is what I was hoping for. Like, I didn't want this game to be 1,000 different characters that you could play, all with randomly generated stats without any one of them being truly unique or different. In other words, they just like stats modifiers, right? And I don't want that because I want there to be very distinct strengths and weaknesses. Then I'm forced to play a very specific way. If you're telling me that, Drone Expert has just 10% boost and ability to fly a drone and control them and do damage, then that to me doesn't sound like a lot of fun. And I played games like that before where you're supposed to play a certain way because of a 10 or 20% stats boost. But the truth is most people just default towards the kind of combat that they normally play. Like if you like to run and gun, you will default to that kind of gameplay. Or if you're someone who likes to play more stealth, you would just default to that type of gameplay, whether or not the stats actually give you a boost to do that. You really have to force different gameplay experiences with very unique stats and gameplay and character traits and abilities for someone to play out of their comfort zone. So that was never revealed, and I kind of wish they did go into that because I'm still not certain of it. I will say this. This just looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I love the darker nature of this. It's grim. I think that's the word I was trying to search for. It's a very grim game. It feels like a mix of V for Vendetta mixed with hacker culture. And I think it makes London interesting here. So yeah, that's my take so far, y'all. I'm really looking forward to this at this point. All right, let me know what you all think. But so far, I'm kind of digging this.